Thank God. This incredible HFY masterpiece found you today. Witness the legend starting now. Look, I have been running detention facilities for 17 cycles. 17. I have processed criminals from 462 different species. I have seen beings that could melt through solid titanium with their spit, creatures that could phase through walls, and one particularly memorable individual who could detonate his own internal organs and regrow them for fun. Fun. Can you believe that? So, when they told me a human was being transferred to my facility, I laughed. Actually laughed out loud in front of my entire security staff. A human. Music, I said, all four of my eye stalks blinking in amusement. One of those soft pink weaponless bipeds from that backwater planet? The ones who die if the temperature shifts by 20 degrees? Those humans. The music. Galactic Council security protocols are very clear, very thorough, and very, very paranoid. Every species gets classified. Every species gets a threat assessment. Every species gets a nice little file that tells us exactly how dangerous they are and what precautions we need to take. It is all very scientific, very precise, very boring. Music. Humans were listed as Class F threats. Class F. Do you know what Class F means? It means functionally harmless. It is the same classification we give to the pillow people of Fluff Mac 7, who are literally made of down feathers and communicate through interpretive sneezing. I should have read the footnotes. The transport shuttle docked at Bay 7 with a hiss that echoed through the reception area. I was there personally because that is what a good warden does. I greet the high-profile transfers. I make sure they understand exactly where they are and what kind of establishment. I run here. Detention Center Kappa 9 has a 99.7% containment record. The only reason it is not 100% is because of an incident involving a sentient gas cloud. And honestly, that barely counts. My name is Krell, by the way. Warden Krell. And I take pride in my work. The security team rolled out. 6 of my best guards surrounding the containment pod. Standard procedure. The pod itself was humming with energy fields. Triple locked, probably, music, overkill for a Class F. But the Council does not take chances with interstellar prisoners. Politics, you understand? Always politics. Open it up, I ordered, waving 2 of my mid-arms in the standard authorization gesture. The pod cracked open with a pneumatic sigh, and there he was, the human. Marcus Webb, according to his file. He stepped out slowly, blinking in the bright lights of the facility, and I got my first real look at him. Honestly, music, disappointing. He was maybe 6 foot tall, give or take. Tan skin, dark hair cropped short, wearing the standard prisoner jumpsuit that hung loosely on his frame. No claws, no fangs. No music. Armored plating, no extra limbs. No bioluminescent displays. Nothing. He looked like someone had taken the most average species in the galaxy and then forgotten to add any interesting feature. Welcome to Detention Center Kappa 9, I announced, keeping my voice formal but not unkind. I am Warden Krell. You will surrender all weapons, contraband, and personal effects. You will comply with facility regulations. You will not cause trouble. Do you understand these terms? The human looked at me, music, with these strange flat eyes. 2 of them. Just 2. Surrounded by a white with a colored iris in the middle. Music, a brown in his case. They did not glow, did not rotate independently, did not even blink sideways. But there was something in them. Something that made my tertiary stomach clench just a bit. I understand, he said. His voice was calm, quiet, almost amused. Music. Excellent. Security, confiscate his items. This is where it gets funny, or where I thought it was funny at the time. Looking back, the universe was definitely laughing at me, not with me. Guard Voss stepped forward, scanner in hand, running it over the human from head to toe. Music, the device beeped, word, and then displayed its findings on the holographic readout. I leaned in to examine the list. 1 metal ring on his left hand. Wedding band, the file noted. Sentimental value only. No defensive or offensive capabilities. One pair of soft-soled shoes. Standard Earth fabrication. No hidden compartments. One chronometer on his wrist. Mechanical. Non-networked. Earth music. Could not be used for communication or hacking. That is it. I asked, genuinely confused. That is it, sir, Voss confirmed, his reptilian snout twitching with something that might have been disappointment. I looked at Marcus Webb again. You came to an interstellar conflict summit with no weapons? None at music, all. The human smiled. Actually smiled. It was not a threatening expression on his species. Music. Their teeth are flat, mostly. Designed for grinding plant matter and cooked meat. Not tearing through flesh. Did not think I would need any, he said. I was there to talk, not fight. Clearly. The talking did not go well, I observed, gesturing to his prisoner status. You could say that, he agreed, still with that odd little smile. We processed him through intake. Took his ring, his shoes, his chronometer. Gave him regulation cell slippers and a prison number. Scanned his biometrics. The whole procedure by the book. Professional, efficient. He complied with everything. No resistance, no complaints, no threats. He even thanked guard Tharma when she handed him his bedding allotment. Thanked her like this was a hotel and not a maximum security detention facility that has held warlords and terrorists and people who committed crimes I cannot even pronounce. Music. Cell block 9, maximum security, I ordered. Standard monitoring, standard meal rations. He is human, so check the database for dietary restrictions. I do not want him dying from allergic reactions on my watch. The paperwork would be horrendous. Yes, sir, Voss said, leading Marcus, music, away. I watched them go. The human walking calmly between 4 armed guards like he was taking a casual stroll. No fear, no anger, no anxiety. Just calm. That should have been my second clue. The first clue was that smile. But I had a facility to run, reports, music, to file. And 3 other prisoners arriving that cycle. One of them was a Thorian. Berserker who could, music, bench, press a small spacecraft. That seemed much more worthy of my attention than one harmless human. Besides, what was the worst he could do? Music. Bore us to death with stories about his planet's weather patterns? Ha. Ha ha. The universe has a sense of humor. And I was about to become its favorite punchline. The security briefing the next morning was routine. Music. Dull even. I sat at the head of the conference table in my office, reviewing overnight reports while my senior guards gave their updates. Music. Guard Voss was going on. About cell block 6 and some. Dispute over food rations between 2 thin inmates. Guard. Tharma was discussing maintenance issues with the environmental controls in Sector 12. Guard. Music. Grunt. Who has more muscles than brain cells but is loyal as they come. Was eating his breakfast and nodding along without understanding a single word. And the human? I asked, more out of procedure than actual concern. Voss flicked through his data pad. Quiet. Music. Cooperative. Slept through the night cycle. Ate his breakfast. No issues whatsoever. See? I said, leaning, music, back in my chair with satisfaction. Class F. Functionally harmless. I do not understand why the council flagged this transfer as high priority. The paperwork alone was absurd. 3 different authorization codes, 2 DNA verifications, a direct sign-off from a council representative. All for that. Tharma, who is generally the most cautious of my staff, clicked her mandibles together thoughtfully. Sir, I did read something interesting in the human species file last night, just out of curiosity. Oh. I was only half listening, signing off on a requisition form for new stun battens. Their planet, Earth. The environmental conditions are classified as Class 7 hostile. That got my attention. I looked up. Class 7? That cannot be right. Class 7 means active planetary threats, extreme weather, toxic atmosphere zones, megafauna predators. You are telling me these soft little bipeds come from a Class 7 world? According to the file. Yes, sir. I snorted. which sounds more impressive when you have 3 nasal passages. Then the file is wrong, obviously. Music. A look at them. They have no natural defenses, no armor, no venom, no elemental resistances. They would be prey animals on any Class 7 world. Not the dominant species. The file also mentions something about persistence and adaptability. Tharma continued, but I waved her off. Every species thinks they are adaptable. Music. I said dismissively. The Zelkrim think they are adaptable, because they can survive in both wet and dry climates. The Porthun think they are adaptable because, music, they can eat 6 different types of plant matter. Everyone is adaptable until they meet actual hostile conditions, and then they are just dead. Grant laughed at that, shooting food particles across the table. Disgusting, but at least someone appreciated my humor. Speaking of our human, Voss said, changing the subject with the smooth professionalism I value in him. Music. He has been assigned to general population for the day cycle. Cafeteria access, recreation yard. Standard privilege. Good, good, I said, already moving on to the next report. Let him socialize. Maybe he can make friends with the pillow people. They can have a support group for species nobody takes seriously. That got another laugh from Grant. Tharma, music, did not laugh. She just kept clicking her mandibles in that worried way she had. Sir, she said carefully, would it not be, music, more prudent to keep him isolated until we know more about human behavior under stress? Music. Tharma, my dear. Paranoid, overly cautious Tharma, I said with exaggerated patience. The human has no weapons, no natural defenses, no criminal history of violence. He was arrested for unauthorized assembly and disturbing the peace at a diplomatic summit. Those are basically thought crimes. He yelled too loudly in the wrong place. That is it. That is his entire criminal profile. Still. No stills. We follow protocol. Class F threats get standard treatment. If I started making exceptions for every prisoner who came from a planet with bad weather, I would never get anything done. Now, unless anyone has actual concerns based on actual evidence, I suggest we move on. We have a Vrina assassin arriving this afternoon who can liquefy her own skeleton to slip through air vents. That is worth our time. The human is not. The meeting wrapped up shortly after that. Everyone went back to their posts. The facility hummed along with its usual efficiency. Cell blocks remained secure. Meals were distributed. Recreational periods proceeded without incident. Music. For exactly 4 hours and 17 minutes. Then all hell broke loose in the cafeteria. I was in my office enjoying a nice cup of fermented Jack's juice and reading through the most boring report, music, ever written about power consumption in cell block 3 when the alert came through. General disturbance, cafeteria, music, multiple individuals involved. Not unusual. Prisons are full of violent criminals who do not like each other. Music. We get fights. We break them up. We assign punishment duties. It is all, music, very routine. I pulled up the security feed on my wall monitor expecting to see the usual. Maybe some Thorians bumping chests over territory. Maybe a Zelkrim food dispute. Maybe someone insulted someone else's breeding appendages. What I saw instead made me sit up so fast I spilled Jack's juice all over my desk. The human, Marcus Webb, standing in the center of a ring of inmates, and he was not the victim. 3 Thorians were on the ground. Not injured, not stunned. On the ground. One was holding his face. One was curled around his midsection. The third was not moving at all. Just sprawled out like someone had shut off his power switch. Standing. 3 Thorians. Each one massing at least twice what the human did. Each one with natural bone plating and reinforced musculature. Each one capable of punching through a steel door. Music. On the ground. Marcus stood there breathing hard but steady. His hands up in a loose stance that looked both casual and ready. Music. His jumpsuit was torn at the shoulder. There was blue blood on his knuckles. Not his blood. Thorian blood. The cafeteria had gone completely silent. 50 inmates from a dozen different species all pressed back against the walls staring at the human, like he had just sprouted wings and started reciting poetry. What? I said slowly to my empty office. In the name of the council's 7th secretary's left. Tentacle, music. Is happening? I slapped the comm button. All guards to the cafeteria. Now. Non-lethal suppression. Contain the human. I was already running. By the time I reached the cafeteria, 8 guards had already formed a perimeter. They had stun battens out, energy shields up, and the kind of nervous energy that comes from seeing something that does not make sense. I pushed through them. All 4 of my eyes focused on the scene. The 3 Thorians were being held up by medical staff. One of them, a big brute named Krager, who had killed 6 people in a mining dispute, was actually whimpering. Whimpering. Music. I had seen Krager take a plasma blast to the chest and laugh about it. Now he was cradling his arm and making sounds like a wounded pup. Marcus Webb stood exactly where he had been on the security feed. Hands still, music, up, still ready, but not attacking. Not advancing. Just waiting. Stand down. Music. I ordered the human, trying to keep my voice level and authoritative. Music. Get on the ground. Now. He looked at me with those flat brown eyes. Warden Krell, music. He said like we were having a pleasant conversation over lunch. I would be happy to comply, but I need you to understand something first. I did not, music, start this. I do not care who started it, I snapped. Though that was a lie. I absolutely cared. You are the one still standing. You put down 3 inmates. 3 Thorians. Do you understand how impossible that should be? They came at me, Marcus said simply. All 3 at once. Krager said humans were soft. Said he wanted to test that theory. Said he was going to pull my arms off and use them as back scratches. I glanced at Krager, who would not meet my eyes. Coward. So. I tested his theory instead. Marcus continued. Turns out Thorian knees bend the wrong way if you kick them from the side. Also their bone plating does not cover their throats. And that big one, the one who is still not moving, he did not expect a headbutt. Nobody ever expects a headbutt. You, music, a headbutt at a Thorian. I was having trouble processing this. Their skulls are reinforced bone. Triple density. You should have knocked yourself unconscious. Marcus smiled that small smile again. The one I was starting to hate. Human skulls are pretty dense too, Warden. We evolved smashing things with our heads. Mainly nuts and shells, but the principle applies. That is not, I started, then stopped. What was I even arguing? Music. The evidence was right in front of me. 3 Thorians down. 1 human standing. Get on the ground. Now, or we will make you get on the ground. Sure, he said. And just like that, he dropped to his knees. Then laid flat. Music. Hands behind his head. Completely compliant. Like the last 3 minutes had not happened. I really did not want trouble, Warden. I just wanted to eat my lunch. It was some kind of grey protein paste. But honestly, it was not bad. Little bland, but I have had worse. He was talking about lunch. Lunch. While medical staff were loading a Thorian onto a stretcher. Restrain him, I ordered. Full restraints. Energy cuffs. Leg binders. I want him locked down and back in his cell immediately. 6 guards moved in. Cautious. Like they were approaching an explosive device. Which I was starting to realize maybe they were. Music. They got the cuffs on him without incident. He did not resist at all. Just kept that calm expression. Like this was all very reasonable and expected. As they hauled him to his feet, I noticed, music, something. The human was not even breathing hard anymore. His heart rate, according to the bioscanner one of the guards had, was, music, already back to normal. Like he had just taken a light walk. Not fought 3 alien inmates who could bench press small vehicles. Warden, Tharma said quietly appearing at my elbow. I think we need to review the human species file more carefully. You think? I said, hearing creeping into my voice and not caring. What was your first clue? When he disabled, music. 3. Thorians with his bare hands. Or when he casually mentioned evolving. To smash things with his head? The cafeteria was still silent. Every inmate was watching Marcus being led away. And I saw something in their faces I had never seen directed at a class. Threat before. Fear. Not respect. Not curiosity. Fear. Back in my office, I pulled up the full species file on humans. Not the summary. Not the threat assessment. The full file. The one that is 947 pages long and includes environmental data, evolutionary history, biological specifications, and cultural analysis. I started reading and reading and reading. Oh no, I said somewhere around page 43. Oh no. No, no, I said around page 97. Why did nobody tell me this? I said around page 206, which detailed human endurance capability. Tharma had been right. Earth was Class 7 hostile, but not because of environmental conditions. Well, not just because of that. It was Class 7 because everything on that planet was actively trying to kill everything else. And humans, those soft, squishy, apparently weaponless humans, were the apex predators. They did not have claws, so they invented knives. They did not have venom, so they invented poison. They did not have armor, so they invented shields and then, later just decided armor was for the weak and developed something called adrenaline and didn't have. They could not run fast, so they just ran forever. Persistence predators, the file called them. They would chase prey for days until the prey literally died of exhaustion. Days without music stopping. Their planet tried to kill them with temperature extremes. So they just adapted to live everywhere from frozen wastelands to burning deserts. Their planet tried to kill them with predators. So they killed the predators and turned them into pets. Their planet tried to kill them with diseases. So their immune systems became so aggressive that they sometimes attacked their own bodies. Music. By